Hi there, I'm back to talk to you about describing distributions and showing distributions of categorical variables. So in this example, we're going to look at the distribution of island. And just to remind you, in this penguins data set, one of the variables we have here is called island. So the first thing we're going to do is to create a bar plot. So like I forgot to do before, I'm going to start with the data set, and then we're going to go into plotting it using ggplot. Okay, so remember the shortcut for the pipe is Command-Shift-M or Control-Shift-M. Inside of my ggplot, I'm going to put the aesthetic mapping. And the first time I do this, I'm going to put island on the x-axis, plus sign, and then I will tell it the geom we're using, which in this case is geom bar. This will do the counting for us. So notice I didn't have to do any of the counting. It does that for us. So in this case, our data are I didn't look at this beforehand, but our bars are already ordered in the right way. But it can be helpful. Oftentimes they're not. They're actually ordered alphabetically by default. So what we can do here is we can use a little function before island. I'm going to use this function called fct underscore. Oh my gosh, I just forgot what it is. It's called infreq, which stands for infrequency order. And then notice here, I'm missing a closed parentheses. So I'm going to add one more of those. And when I do that, it puts these bars in the right order. Now, I also have some really ugly names here. So I'm just going to show you really quick that we can use this labs function to change what's on the x-axis. And I actually prefer when the y-axis is a count, I prefer to just leave it blank, which I can either do by having parentheses with nothing in it, or writing capital NULL, which stands for null. And then I actually might like to have a title. And I like to put something informative here. So I will put something like the Bisco Island has the most penguins. So notice now there is no y-axis label and only a title. And truthfully, because of my title, I can probably eliminate the x-axis label as well. I'll just do it that way this time. So I encourage you to do those sorts of things to make your labeling clear. I'm going to save that. The other thing I wanted to point out, which I don't think I have in here, is I actually often prefer, especially when I have a lot of categories and the names are really long, I prefer, and I'm just going to write this here, I prefer the bars to be horizontal. And all we have to do nowadays to do that is to change this to Y, and it will now put that on the y-axis. Now, notice it has flipped these things sort of upside down, and I can show you how to fix that. Let me actually grab this chunk of code, and I'm going to paste that down here. And in addition to factor in freq, if I remember, I don't think there's, let me just check something here. Let's see, which determines the order. My picture is in the way here. Hold on a second. A logical, which determines the ordered status. Okay. I don't know exactly. I can't remember what that does. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to add another function in front of this. So it's going to put them in frequency order. And then I'm going to put this factor underscore rev, FCT underscore rev in front of that, which is going to reverse the order. So, and then let me make sure I close, oops, wrong thing. Let me make sure I close all of those. Oops, somehow I added an extra one. Okay. Oh, oops. And then we want to put that on the y-axis instead of the x-axis. And once again, we see what we like to see. I like it this way too, because it's a lot easier for our eyeballs to compare the bars. Okay, and then the last thing I want to show is just how to create a table. And there's a couple of different ways to do this. I'm just going to show you the count function at first. So we're going to take the penguins data, and then we're going to go into that function called count. And in here, I just want to put the variable that I want to count by. So in this case, I'll put island. And again, it's going to, just like it did in the plot, it's going to automatically order by in alphabetical order. One way we can fix this in a table is after the count, we can then arrange, and we can arrange by this variable called n that was just created. If we do that, by default, it will go from smallest to largest. Inside of here, if we change this to D, or before the N, if we put DESC parenthesis, that will put it in descending order. Okay, that's all I've got for this. I hope that was helpful. Bye-bye.